Doctor Who fans, I believe this weekend is going to be a pretty big weekend for news. And I'm about to tell you a very good reason why. I just woke up, right? Woke up looking on YouTube only to find it appears that BBC out of nowhere, which is kind of weird because from what was gathered, it seems that the Six Nations, it's coming from what appears to be BBC iPlayer, where they've been airing the Six Nations. They've been doing a lot of live coverage over there for the Six Nations last night, and it appears as though that in one of the broadcasts they aired the Doctor Who season 2 trailer, well, the series 2 trailer we saw on Christmas Day last year. But there was a big difference about this particular trailer because at the very end of it, it said the date Saturday, the 12th of April. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that the BBC have possibly accidentally revealed to us the release date, the launch date, or should I say the air date of Doctor Who's return. And if that's true, and if this ends up being the case, because I mean, obviously it's claimed it's aired on BBC One, even though I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I've checked BBC One this morning and nothing's showed up yet. So I would assume that if the trailer's real, it's probably going to air at some point today, because especially as everyone's talking about it, some point today, everyone's going to see this. It's crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy to think that Saturday, the 12th of April. Now, this is certainly earlier than I was expecting because, well, I kind of went in thinking it was going to be Easter Saturday, which was the 18th, which is the following Saturday. But it seems as though they might be going for, maybe the week before Easter this time around, which I actually don't mind that. I don't mind them going for that particular weekend, but then again, I think about it, I'm pretty sure Gladiators is still due to still be on the air that weekend. So you would think they would have waited till after Gladiators. But the fact that they're airing possibly what could be the last weekend of Gladiators for this year, well, for the series, I'm quite surprised by that decision. If that's indeed what's happening here, that we're going to have Doctor Who and Gladiators on the same night, that's pretty cool. If that's where we're heading. Nevertheless, the fact that we've got a release date to go off, at least promising, because I think this is, like I said, like I was going to do in a video, Who Universe News, I even said in that recording that we needed some news following the articles that was coming out about like the possibility of Ncuti Gatwa leaving Doctor Who and the fact that Doctor Who might get axed, even though luckily the BBC have denied those claims, which is good that they've clarified, look, that's not happening here. I'm glad that at least something's coming out. At least we're getting some clarity as to when the series is going to start. Hopefully now with the series getting its release date, and I feel very confident that they are indeed that this trailer is indeed telling the truth. I believe it is going to very much air on the 12th of April. I don't see why the BBC would air a trailer by accident just to not air it publicly. Like, I feel like this was intended to be released this weekend, and I feel like Russell had plans for this weekend to be the day that the weekend, I would assume Saturday, to be the start, the talking point of this particular air date, which I think makes perfect sense why this trailer is dropped a little bit earlier than intended. But then again, there is that off chance that they might change the date around, so it might end up not being the 12th, but ends up being Easter weekend, like I theorized, which there's the possibility of that. Because they've already put this in a trailer that has popped up on BBC iPlayer, I doubt they would change it this quickly, would they? No, I don't think they would. I think they would stick to what they've written, I would assume. So I think they're going to lock it in as the 12th of April, if anything, because unless they really do want to go for Easter weekend, then by all means, go for it. I wouldn't mind seeing Doctor Who on Easter weekend, so at least to be fair, it doesn't really matter at this point, because, I mean, if it airs on the 12th, at least we're getting an episode airing on Easter weekend. That's the main thing here. So I'm actually kind of happy that we've got some date to go off on now regarding the new series, and it looks like we're now finally getting some answers to that question that I'm sure Russell knew that we were going to ask this question eventually. When is this bloody thing going to air? Thank God he's finally clarifying some things. Because I was bound to do a video to say, look, Russell, we need to clarify some stuff here. Yeah, I'm glad he's on top of that, which is good. But also it begs the question, could there be any new trailers for Doctor Who coming up in the next few weeks? I think there's a good chance we're going to get some new trailers pretty soon, considering the fact, well, even though they're pretty much re-airing this teaser, it seems. But then again, they might surprise us tonight and maybe throw out a new trailer anyway, and they might have already had a trailer ready to go, and essentially they just put the teaser trailer just to hide the fact that they are releasing a new trailer tonight. If they are, then that's amazing, because it means it gives us more stuff to keep to look at, and like, oh, I wonder what this could, and maybe do some reaction videos as well, which maybe I'll do a reaction when that new trailer comes out. Nevertheless, 12th of April sounds good to me, and also it's good because it's not on April Fools, because if can you imagine if Doctor Who was airing on April Fools, people will think it was a joke if it was the 1st of April, but luckily it isn't. So yeah, luckily they've avoided that one. Nevertheless, Saturday the 12th, I'm feeling pretty good about this release, this air date, and I'm sure they're going to lock it in, and I'm sure that the Doctor Who socials are going to confirm this release date in a matter of hours, and I'm very confident they will. We can now also mention about another cast member who is coming to the series. Christopher Chan, who's going to be playing a character called Casco, or in other words, Trooper 1, depending on how you want to refer this character. Basically, Russell has mentioned that this character will meet the Doctor and the new companion, Beverly Chazal, who's Melanie Sepher's character, for a thrilling adventures in the forthcoming series, which is going to be one of the toughest episodes ever made. And they even said it's going to be the darkest episode as well. In fact, there's talk that his character is going to be in episode 3, which is rumored to be called 5 Miles Deep. So this is meant to be the underwater episode that we've seen in the trailer. So if that's the case, then yeah, it's going to probably be something to do with an underwater base sort of storyline. And also, this actor's also appeared in the Slow Horse drama for Apple TV Plus, and also appeared in Waterloo Road as well. So we've obviously got to give a mention to that, because obviously Waterloo Road's currently active on BBC currently. So yeah, so it's good to see that they're bringing some characters in from Waterloo Road into the world of Doctor Who. So we have another actor to finally look out for when the new series drops, which is great. So another new actor to join the fray. So that's really good. Now, on top of this is also another question that tends to go around when it comes to Doctor Who, is what is the relationship between Bad Wolf and Disney? Well, the executive came to the Gallifrey 1 convention in LA just recently and actually talked about that relationship between Bad Wolf and Disney, where she basically, Julie Gard obviously talks about this relationship by saying this: I live in America now and I look after mostly the Disney relationship, and they are fantastic to us. They, what was so good right from the beginning is they understood the show. They wanted what the BBC show was. They weren't coming on board to make something else. They always have a fear that you have a meaningful big co-producing partner. They were really interested in what the show was and has been, and the legacy of it. Showrunner Russell T Davies wants to do, and what writer Stephen Moffat would do coming in. So it's interesting she mentions what Stephen Moffat would do coming in. So I don't know if that's a tease that we might see more from Moffat this year. Maybe. I find that very interesting she says that, because, I mean, the way that Moffat was labeling himself last year, he was labeling himself as like, oh, he might do any more writing for Doctor Who, but maybe there's more on the tank, Stephen Moffat, than we first thought. I don't know. But then she carries on to say that it feels very scary because I live in LA and we had a pandemic and had a writer's strike, we had an actor's strike, and then we had fires, obviously referring to the LA fires. At the same time, all of that is happening. The streamers were beginning to say the phase, the model doesn't work, and if you think you worked in television for long, you kind of knew that, and you could see the prices were going up, episodic orders were coming down, and you can see that unsensibly, which is now where we find ourselves. So you can see that there's less being commissioned, and things have been picked up, and there's less money. So yeah, this is probably explaining why the recommission hasn't happened, is mainly because of the whole less money and because of the prices going up is another factor to why the recommission hasn't happened. Yeah, now we're starting to see a picture now why there hasn't been a recommission series 3 yet, but hopefully there will be. But however, though, that she does speak confidently about, in this point here, why I believe there will be a series 3 recommission right around the corner, because she says that's okay for me because I've worked on shows, a lot of shows, kind of a box and cult your way through, and you kind of know to agree what you can do. But for some producers, you never worked in the climax, so there's a lot of uncertainty and fear. But at the same time, we have best kinds of job. I really believe in television. I am who I am because I watched so much TV as a kid, and that's where I found my window in the world, where I understood people and narrative and stories. And there'll always be a way. It's a very, very tough time. Yeah, like I said, she's given us at least some hope. A recommission will happen. It just takes time. That's what it seems to be relaying here, is that there seems to be like a process going on as to why Disney hasn't made a decision regarding like future episodes of Doctor Who just yet. This was also really cool, moving on of course, because the Radiophonic Workshop, these are the people who made the sounds for Doctor Who, including the TARDIS sound, the theme tune, etc. Well, they're collaborating with BBC Studios to actually introduce, to open up a archive side of things with Spitfire Audio, because they're now Spitfire Audio are actually offering BBC's Radiophonic Workshop's historical collection of music and sounds from Doctor Who, which is really cool. And they're making it public for the first time. And they actually made a press release about this where they say for 40 years, BBC Radiophonic Workshop was the place to go for the sounds of impossible and unruffled engine between the music and efforts of Doctor Who, The Goon Show, The Hijack's Guide to the Galaxy, and countless other BBC productions. It was a place of other worlds and of other sounds, reanimating this immense legacy, and the essence of the BBC Radiophonic Workshop is now available for the first time. With unprecedented access to its home, the London Mail Vale Studios dive into the immersive sample collection of sympathies, tape loops, iconic archives, and brand new performances from the workshop members. Re-events with Splitfire's Soul Engine, this library passes the torch from the most forward-thinking minds of early electrical music onto the next generation of producers. The downside of all this is that there is a sort of a membership fee. They're doing an introduction offer that's ending until, well, it's going to be available until the 17th of March, but the price tag here is like £119 just to have access to this, which, it's a bit hefty price. And then especially for the US, you would have to pay $160 to have access to this. And it's just pretty unfortunate that you have to get a membership for all this. But I was hoping they were going to choose to put a paywall over it, which really sucks. Anyone who is brave enough to get the membership, then there'll be a link in the description. But probably not for me, and probably for not a lot of Doctor Who fans are not going to be able to afford this membership. We've got some new Doctor Who books featuring the 50th Doctor and Bedeline, who is the new companion, coming out in May. This is obviously in preparation following the release of the new series. So we have Feared by Water, which is written by Emily Cook, and then we have Hannah Fraser, who's going to be doing a book called Spectacle Scream, which is also coming for a release, and they're both going to be releasing on the 29th of May. So the very end, you're going to be able to get your hands on new Doctor Who 15th Doctor books, featuring also one of them featuring the new companion as part of the journey, which is great. So this will be like her first, as the Vedely Self's first book as the new companion, following her TV debut that's happening. Great moments coming because the 9th Doctor and Rose are finally reuniting for Big Finish. Yes, Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper are going to reunite and to celebrate 20 years since their televised debut as the 9th and 10th the 9th Doctor and Rose. They are going to be doing a new series of audio dramas to celebrate the 9th Doctor adventures. This is going to be the 4th series of that audio series, and of course Billy Piper is going to be a part of that. Well, they're planning to release the first set in August, and it's going to be like 12 hours long adventures that are going to release every 2 months. So the first of them will be releasing this August, so you'll get a chance to hear them both in August as they both reunite on Big Finish following their gig on the screen as the first Doctor and companion we saw in the revival series of Doctor Who all the way back in 2005, which is crazy. It's 20 years ago since this all happened. Alongside this, we also got some news about The Savages, the animation of the missing first Doctor story. It has a release date date now. It's going to be coming 24th of March. So the very end of next month, we're going to be finally getting the Savages, and they finally released the front cover for the DVD. As you can see, this is the front cover of the DVD, and then you also have the front cover for the steelbook, which actually looks kind of nice, actually, with one side featuring the TARDIS, the other side featuring what appears to be like a futuristic, at least the alien for the story. Now, of course, it's going to be a 3-disc set, and it's also going to come pretty nice features, including obviously all 4 episodes featured in both color or black and white, depending on how you want to view it. There's also episode reconstructions of all 4 episodes featuring the material, the original 1996 production, which will also include audio, optionable audio descriptions with Peter Purves. You also got cast and crew audio commentary in there. You've also got Remembering and Forgetting the Savages, which is a new 100-minute documentary about the original 1996 production of the Savages. Indy Lauren, who's the original, the producer behind the story, they've done a whole 90-minute documentary about commitment to Doctor Who. They've got a bunch of surviving clips from that story, which was from the otherwise lost episodes 1, 3, and 4. They've also added a training film from 1986 featuring the Savages director Christopher Barry, so there might be some stuff in there that's taken from the Savages. So you photo gallery, animation gallery, and ROM content, to name some of the stuff that's available as part of this DVD and Blu-ray and Steelbook case release of the Savages that you'll be able to get your hands on at the end of next month.